The English Civil War lasted from 1642 to 1651. It was a watershed event in the history of England. It was a war fought primarily between the parliamentarians, who supported the authority of the English Parliament, and the royalists, who backed the absolute rule of King Charles I. What this event would achieve is the modern democracy we have today in the United Kingdom, but it would also be a devastating conflict for those who participated in it. The English Civil War was also known as the Puritan Revolution, and it was also known as the War of the Three Kingdoms. It was a series of armed conflicts that took place in England, Scotland and Ireland between roughly 1642 and 1651. It was a pivotal event in English history. It resulted in a temporary overthrow of the monarchy and the establishment of a republican government, which was known as the Commonwealth of England. It would also lead to the democracy we have today and the way the country is governed today. The war can be broadly divided up into three phases. The first Civil War, which was 1642 to 1646. Then the second part was 1648 to 1649. And then the third part was 1649 to 1651. The first Civil War, the parliamentarians were led by Oliver Cromwell and supported by a growing middle class. A middle class that was starting to sort of grow and wanting to have a say in the way the country was governed. And Puritans and some nobles clashed with royalists who were loyal to the king. The parliamentarians gained the upper hand and ultimately defeated the royalists at the Battle of Naseby in 1645. The king was shortly captured afterwards in 1646, I believe, and negotiations began for a settlement. However, tensions resurfaced, and in 1648 the Second Civil War erupted. This time it was fueled by divisions within the parliamentarian camp, with more radical elements demanding more radical changes and a complete overhaul of the social and political order. So Cromwell and the New Model Army crushed the royalists once again. Also suppressed those radical elements within their own camp and ranks. And then in 1649, January, King Charles was convicted in a law of court for treason and was executed on the 30th of January outside Banqueting House in Whitehall. And the order, or the order for that execution, was signed by several key members of the parliamentarian side, which included Oliver Cromwell. So in the wake of regicide and the execution of Charles I, the Third Civil War erupted. This was basically in Ireland initially. There was a royalist uprising in Ireland, and Cromwell and his forces landed in Ireland and put down that royalist uprising. It also resulted in a brutal subjugation of the country, which has been performed for many in Ireland, still felt today. Cromwell's armies then marched into Scotland to defeat the Scottish Covenanters, who'd allied with the exiled King Charles II. Now, the war finally came to an end in 1651 with the defeat of Charles II's forces at the Battle of Worcester. The victorious parliamentarians under the leader Oliver Cromwell abolished the monarchy and established what they were called the Commonwealth of England, which was a republican government. And Cromwell ruled this until his death as Lord Protector until 1658, when he died. after which his son took over, Richard, but he proved to be basically incapable of doing the job. And because of that, that led to the restoration of the monarchy and King Charles II being made king officially. The English Civil War would have a profound impact on the political and social landscape of England. It demonstrated that the power of the monarchy could be challenged and curtailed by Parliament, marking a significant shift towards a constitutional monarchy. The war also intensified religious division and set the stage for future conflict debates over the role in religion in public life, especially in regards to governing the country. Overall, the war was a transformative event that reshaped the balance of power in England. Basically, we went from a monarchy to a country governed by Parliament and the House of Lords, which is what we have today. We have a monarchy as a head of state, but they have no power in the way the country is governed. That's done by Parliament and House of Lords. And basically, the English Civil War drove the country towards the democracy that we have today. It was the catalyst, as you might say, for the way we are governed today in this country, in the UK. So this video is basically an overview of the English Civil War. It's not very in depth, it's just to give you an idea of what was happening at that time. I've only really dipped the toe in the water, a couple of millimeters, as they say, and there's plenty more information out there if you want to delve really at depth into it with lots of books. There's probably videos going into more detail than I have on YouTube. But this is the first of a series of videos I'm going to do looking at the English Civil War. We're going to look at some of the commanders on both sides. We're going to look at the miniatures, some of the miniatures that are available. We're going to look at some rules around to play various different types of games. We're going to look at some terrain, and then we're also looking at some of the battles in a bit more detail. Anyway, that's all for now. If you like the video, don't forget to press like, subscribe, and watch out for the next one in the series.